Hey guys, welcome back to Everyday Living with Simply Mercy. Today we're going to be making dinner. And on the menu today is some fresh stew meat. And I'm going to bring you along for the process, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to make this today. Normally I would put it in the slow cooker because it can cook low and slow. But today I have chosen to put it in the oven. And I'm going to go ahead and get my meat all washed up. And then we're going to bring in a few spices so we can spice our meat up and get it into the oven. And we're going to let this cook on about 350 degrees for about 6-7 hours. Because it's about 9:45 in the morning. So we're not going to eat dinner until later on. And that will be just perfect. It can simmer and get nice and tender. So I'm going to go ahead and get my meat all washed up. And when we come back, we're going to put some spices together. Okay, I have pulled a few spices out of the cabinet. I am just going to make up something. There is no recipe. This is just what I think that I would like in my stew beef. So the first thing I'm going to add is a little bit of this Maggie's chicken bouillon. I'm going to take about, so much. So since there's not a recipe, I'm just going to show you the amount, and you can just calculate from what you see. Okay? That makes sense. I hope so. And I'm definitely going to put some minced onion in there. Let me grab my onion powder. Onion powder. I'm going to put a little bit of this Vermonte seasoning. Love it, love it, love it. And this have like a celery base to it. I have some garlic powder here. I'm just going to add the remainder of that little bit that I have left. Garlic powder. I have some brown gravy. I'll add a little bit of that in there. Okay, I added garlic powder. Add some black pepper. About that much. Did you see that? I'm so sorry. About that much. That was probably about a teaspoon of black pepper. And I'm going to add my whole little packet of sesame. Parsley. I'm going to add some parsley. Okay. And I kind of like to put all my seasonings on one side to let me know that I have put everything that I had intended to put in there, in here. We're going to give it a stir. And you have made your own little seasonings. So what I'm going to do here, I want to taste it. That's a good one. That's a good one. That is a good one. We're not going to add anything else to that. One thing about when I'm adding seasonings, you didn't see me add anything salt. The only thing that has a salt base is this Monday. I think that's on and the chicken bouillon. You want to be very careful because you would end up with a very salty product and you would not like it. So I always start with just my spices, and then if I need salt, I will add it later on. But right now, this is perfect, and we're going to bring our meat over and we're going to massage all this into our meat. We have our meat that we have washed. We have our seasoning that we mixed up together here. And I'm going to be using my Dutch oven to cook this in today. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on the heat so it can go ahead and get hot while I season up my meat. And I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil to that. Sometimes it takes these pots a little while to get heated up. So I can go ahead and give it a head start because I'm going to sear my meat before I put it into the oven. Go ahead and get my oven set at 350 degrees. And now we're ready to season up our meat. Well seasoned. We're going to let this hang out a little bit until our Dutch oven come up to temperature. Our oil has reached temperature. Now we're going to sear these in batches. Get you a little closer in there so you can see that sear. So we're not trying to cook the meat, we're just sealing in the juices. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these. And we're going to add the next batch in. I wish you guys can smell it. It smells so good in here. We're going to add a little bit more olive oil to the pot here. Just going to get the rest of this meat in here. So now we're just going to take some water and deglaze our pan. And we're going to scrape all those bits from the bottom. That is flavor, flavor, flavor. You see? You're just going to gently scrape those bits from the bottom. Mix in with the liquids. Put some more in there. Just want to continue to let the liquids pull those bits from the bottom. Alright, I don't feel any more of those bits down there. We're going to add the remainder of our meat back to the pot. I have a half an onion here that I'm just going to slice just to add more flavor. I like to layer those flavors. Just going to add those onions right in there. Last thing I'm going to add is 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. Flavors on top of flavors. That's what we're looking for. And that's the reason you don't want to add too much salt in the beginning, because some of the other products that you're adding, they contain salt already. And you don't want to oversalt your food. It looks good already, doesn't it? But this is going to cook for a good 6 hours. And we have our oven set at 350 degrees. And we are going to set it and forget it. I am going to add some more liquids to this, since I don't want to have to keep coming back checking on it. But I want that meat to be nice and tender. Now you can very well cook this on top of the stove, but I love that oven cook. It's going to cook it nice and slow. It has an even temperature and you don't have to worry about adjusting your temperature. We're going to go ahead and prepare our rice. And I'm going to cook about 2 cups of rice. And that's going to yield a lot of rice. But that's going to last us about 3 days here. And we're going to wash our rice. Now, I don't judge anyone who do not wash their rice. But when you wash the rice, you do see a lot of the debris that comes from the rice. So let's go ahead and wash our rice. I got my rice all washed up. This is one simple way to make rice, and I absolutely love making my rice this way. You don't have to sit over there worrying about a boil over on top of the stove top. I'm going to cook it in the oven. So I'm just going to add it to my pan here. Just have our rice in there. I'm going to go ahead and add me a couple of good pinches of salt to this. I'm just making some regular butter rice here today. And I'm going to cut a couple of pats of butter. And I have two cups of rice here. So I'm going to go ahead and put about 2.5 tablespoons maybe of butter. We just have them cut into pats there. To this, we're going to add 4 cups of hot water. And this has 4 cups. So we're just going to add this whole pot. I have my oven set on 350 degrees. I'm going to give it a stir. I have my oven set on 350 degrees. And we're going to cook this for about 35 minutes. Just going to cover this in some aluminum foil. Now you want to be very careful with this because the water is hot. Okay. Cover it up good. Oven set at 350 degrees. And you're going to have the perfect cooked rice. Guys, I have a cabbage here. And it does appear to be a little bit frozen. Let me see if it'll still work. I hope it still works. Did I mention it was a rainy and cold day here in Georgia? Take a look at my cabbage. Look. You can see where it's frozen. But I'm going to go ahead and cook it. Let's go ahead and get this cut up. Okay, so I'm not feeling the frozen part, so I'm going to take that out. All of these are frozen. You're not going to have very much cabbage left, huh? That's okay. I cannot deal with that frozen part. Okay. We're just not going to bother with that part. So we're just going to have just a small amount of sauteed cabbage here. Because we're not going out to pick up anything else. And that's what we have. Just want to steam this up real good. And we're going to make us some cornbread. And dinner will be ready. And I can relax the rest of the day. I was only able to recover just a small amount of my cabbage. So we're just going to saute them up a little bit. I'm just going to use some bacon and cut some pieces of bacon up. We're going to let the fat render from this bacon, and when that happens, we're going to come back. We're going to add our cabbage to that and saute those up a little bit, and we're done. So the fat has rendered from our bacon, and I'm going to remove a little bit of this from. I'm just going to remove a little bit of this. Okay. Just going to get our cabbage right in there. It shouldn't take these long at all. I'm going to go ahead and add a few seasonings to that. I have a little garlic powder here, onion powder. I'm going to take a little bit of chicken bouillon. Now if you have some chicken stock or some chicken broth, just add you a little bit in there. going to finish up our dinner by making us some sweet tea. Just have some sugar and water in this container here. We have our tea. Time to check on our stew beef. Ooh, it smells so good. Let's take a look. Whoa. Be careful with that lid, it's very hot. Let's take a look. Ooh, yes. Take a look. It is so tender. Look at that. All right. I got to get you a close-up. Look at that. This cooked for, I put it on at 10 o'clock. I put it in the oven at 10 o'clock on 350 degrees, and it is now 2 o'clock. So it took it 4 hours to cook and get tender and be ready for dinner. We're going to go ahead and plate us some up, and when we come back, we're going to be tasting this delectable dish. I am so excited. It is 2:14 on a Sunday. My dinner is complete. And I am ready to enjoy the remainder of my day. I have here some sauteed, I don't know why I want to call them squash. I have squash on my mind. But I have some sauteed cabbage here. I have some stew beef with rice and some cornbread. And that is dinner for me today. And I just want to taste it and let you all see exactly how tender this meat is. That gravy is perfect. Amazing. And I also have some cabbage. perfect Sunday dinner. Top it off with a nice glass of sweet tea. It doesn't get any better than that. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today while I made my Sunday dinner. I hope you were inspired by some of the techniques that I used to cook. And with that being said, I'm going to see you right back here on Everyday Living with Simply Mercy B. Coming up next is a peanut butter cake, and I hope you enjoy that as well. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.